Hello everyone, and welcome to the final air poll for the last litter of the Timberwood pack, which is of course Puma and Koji and their pups. And we're going to be jumping into this. Don't forget to check the description for a link both to the poll where you can vote on which of these wolves you want to be the finalist for this litter, and also where you can see a quick reference of the pups, their stats, their coats, and a little bit of info about them that we noticed during the litter. Of course, first off here we have Whisper, who has actually the 302M Casanova coat that's got that pretty white patches on it. It is a black coat, of course all of the pups are. They all have the one black coat gene and one gray coat gene, because as we found out, Puma has 2 black coat genes and Koji has 2 gray. So fortunately for them, this did boost their disease resistance, because we really started to struggle with the illness in the latter half of the litter. So a lot of these guys probably owe their survival to being a little bit stronger in that regard. In fact, Whisper may well be one of them, because she did actually fall ill pretty early in the litter, and she did end up recovering from that, of course, because we're seeing her here now. She also has these kind of darker colored eyes, which are a little bit more reminiscent of Koji's, I think. These very deep brown, kind of bronzy colors. And let's also listen to her howls. Bit of a higher pitched one there, and then for her secondary. Ooh, a really higher pitched one there, so she's got kind of a higher voice overall. She also does not have any of the customizations here. She did not roll the radio collar. However, if you have ideas for her or any of our other wolves, and you are a member either of my Patreon or of the Twitch subs or of the channel memberships on the main JayPlays channel, then you have access to that potentially if you're either on the Patreon or you're in the Discord sub server for those of you guys who are over 13 and a member of one of those things. There's places where you can submit your ideas for perhaps what happened to these wolves between when they were pup to when they became an adult. Maybe they got a torn ear because they got in a fight, maybe they have a mange tail, whatever you guys think could have happened. You can submit your ideas there for a chance of having them be made canon. It's not a guarantee, but I will be looking through that for ideas, incorporating as many of them as I feel will end up fitting. So if you guys want to have the chance for that to happen, then definitely make sure to check those out. But as for Whisper's stats, she's got that +1 strength, -1 stamina, +1 speed, and -1 health. So actually lower stamina. Is she the only one with a -1 to stamina? I'm not actually sure, but she has a slightly lowered stamina, so a little bit less endurance than a lot of our wolves, but a little bit more health than a lot of them too, because we do have a lot of -2s. In fact, Puma herself had a -2, so we did see that carry over to a lot of her pups. And of course, Whisper was the Timberwood 13F, well, she was a member of that pack, but that is her story. Next up we have Lykoi. And Lykoi actually has one of the NPC wolf variations. You can see it's not anywhere here on this listing. It is actually a variation, though, of this first black coat here, the one from the original coats, at least the new version of them. Of course, we do have the classic versions of them still in the game as well, but it's very, very pretty. It's a little bit less brownish than the original one, and of course, it is a black coat. He also got these really pretty kind of greenish eyes. They're a lot like Puma's, a little bit more green. Hers are more kind of just straight gray silver, but they are very, very pretty, and they do stand out once again quite well from his coat. We'll also go ahead, we'll listen to his howls. Ooh, a bit of a deeper, almost contemplative sort of one. And then for his secondary, oh, that's a really dramatic one, also a bit deeper, so he's got kind of a deeper voice overall. Now, he didn't roll any customizations here, but of course, if you are a member of the Patreon or the supporter Discord, you'll have the chance to submit your ideas for anything you think could have happened to him between the time when he was a pup to the time when he became an adult. You can send those in there. As for his stats, he has a +1 to his strength and a -1 to his health, but no other stat modifiers. So a little bit stronger, not quite as healthful, but not quite as low health as some of our other wolves have. And of course, he was the 21 member of the Timberwood pack and a little bit of a wanderer, as most of the pups in this litter were. But that is Lykoi, and next up we have Whitefang, and Whitefang has the 926F from the Lamar Canyon pack coat. He's also got these really, really deep kind of chocolatey eyes that go quite along quite well with the coloration of it here. You can see Go back. It's got some of that down there, and he's also got that same kind of color in his eyes. This may have been the one that Remus was. I can never remember. I think it was between 926F and 859M that I can never remember which one Remus is. But Remus is these pups' grandfather, the mate of Peregrine, and the father of Puma herself. So it's a little bit interesting to see these coats continuing to pop up. His legacy definitely has passed on right down to his very strange genes, and Puma's weird little genetic mutation of having a double black coat when she shouldn't have. So yeah, but as for Whitefang, let's go ahead and we'll listen to his howls as well. Well, that's a bit of a higher pitched one, and then for his secondary, bit of a deeper one there. Now he did not roll any of the customizations here, but of course, if you guys have ideas for that and you're a member of either the Patreon or the supporter Discord or both, you're welcome to submit your ideas there. As for his stats, he has that +1 strength, +1 speed, and the classic -2 health, as a lot of the pups do, just like their mother does. And he was formerly the 22M member of the Timberwood Pack, and he was notably kind of a bit of a loner. He seemed to kind of want to have his own space. He was sometimes slow to head back to the grass. He kind of just, all in all, seemed a little bit of a solitary fellow, so he might be a bit more of a loner. But that is Whitefang, and last but not least, we have Ezra. Ezra, the wolf with a bit of a story following him. Ezra, of course, has the Cinderella coat, which was a surprise to everyone, because at the time we didn't know that Puma had 2 black coat genes, and we thought he might actually be a gray coat. He was actually pretty reddish as a pup, and then turned pure white as an adult, surprising everyone. And of course, it is a very, very pretty coat. It's almost a little bit, I think it's the most bluish of the white coats, but I kind of like that, that cool gray. And those little black ear tips and those striking yellow eyes. They're very, very bright too. They really stand out even against the white fur. He's definitely a looker. There's no denying that one. Let's go ahead. We'll listen to his howls. A bit of a deeper one there, and then for his secondary, a little bit on the higher side, so he's kind of got a bit of a range as well. Once again, of course, if you guys have ideas for any of these customizations, then and you're a member of either the supporter Discord or the Patreon, then you can put those there. There's places to put both of those if you think something happened to him between the time that he was a pup and the time that he became an adult. As for his stats, he has that +1 strength, +1 speed, and -2 health, which I think is pretty similar to what Puma had. I don't actually remember what her exact stat balance was, but I know that -2 health came from her. So he's a stronger wolf. He's a pretty quick wolf, but he doesn't have the most health. He'd kind of not be able to stay in the fight for quite so long. And of course, he was the 23M member of the pack, the youngest of the pups, and oh my goodness, this pup, he was a wanderer. He got into quite a bit of trouble. He actually seemed pretty close to Angora, the pup who unfortunately did pass away from illness this litter. And not only that, but of course he had his rather legendary coat color change. That there was an actual channel point, what do they call it, predictions. There was an actual channel point prediction on Twitch, and a lot of people won a lot of channel points from it because he turned out to be one of those false gray coats that is actually a black coat, which they know because they did gene test the original wolf that this coat came from. And if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about with channel points and all that, then make sure you go check out my channel on twitch.tv. It's JZX535. But with that said, I think we are going to go ahead and conclude this air poll as well. Make sure to vote in the poll in the video description and to check out the quick reference spreadsheet that has information about the pups, like their stats, their coat colors, and some notes that we observed from them and their litters while we were playing through their stories, so you can easily refer back to that if you just want a quick look at what's going on, who's who, and all of that. But we are going to go ahead and end this off here for today because it is getting to be about that time again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to drop a follow over on twitch.tv at JZX535 so you can see when we're going to be going live. And I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.